Joining me now is Andreessen Horowitz general partner Katherine Boyle. Katherine, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. You've been in Silicon Valley for a long time. Are you seeing a shift from Silicon Valley investors right now? And many of them, as far as I can see, are wrapping themselves in the American flag.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We like hearing the term patriotic capitalism. We call it American dynamism, but it's essentially building companies in support of the national interest. And what I think is so important about Donald Trump Jr.'s talk recently in Riyadh is that this is something that every country wants. Every country wants nation-state dynamism. They want to bring American innovation. They want to bring critical industries to their country. And they know that American software, American innovation, and ingenuity can actually help that. So I think one of the takeaways from that talk in Riyadh is really that global investors understand the need to be supporting the national interest, to be investing in companies that are building in critical industries in their own countries, but also to be investing in companies that are building in the U.S. that can potentially export to their countries and help in their national interests. So I think we're seeing a lot of enthusiasm for the category. It's not just a fleeting investment thesis. It is a real category of innovation now, and we would predict that it's the next 25 years of not only American growth, but growth throughout the world.
Yeah, and we've been pointing out the investment ideas and opportunities within defense, around space, and certainly some of these critical areas. You mentioned increasingly this is a trend. J.P. Morgan Chase just announced that it's creating a $1.5 trillion security and resiliency initiative where they, too, will be investing in things that are critical to the U.S. economy. Katherine, what are your ideas in terms of allocating capital around this theme?
Well, I mean, it's really been extraordinary. I think over the last 4 years since we announced our American Dynamism Fund, we thought it would be mostly focused on aerospace and defense, but we actually have seen what we're calling the shift left, where we're investing in critical minerals, we're investing in automated manufacturing. It really is also a credit to this administration, just how they think about finding partnerships with other countries around business interests. As you've mentioned with the recent tour to Europe, there's been extraordinary investment coming into the U.S., particularly South Korea investing in American shipbuilding. I think $5 billion going to one shipyard in Philadelphia alone, but multiple billions over several years going into just one category of innovation where there's a lot of activity happening now in American dynamism and in venture community. So I think there's just extraordinary opportunities now, not only for investors to be investing in these companies, but for countries to really be partnering on what are the critical needs that every nation has and where can American innovation supplement. And we're really seeing a lot of great ideas that didn't even exist a few years ago.
So tell me about that. How do you look at what's going on with AI and line that up with an investment? Because major companies are beginning to lay off. And these layoffs are meant to offset the rise and adoption of AI throughout all aspects of the workforce. Goldman Sachs reporting 6 to 7% of U.S. employees could be displaced by artificial intelligence. You know, of course, AI efficiencies will mean, job overlap, Katherine. So how do you look at that issue?
Yeah, so absolutely. I think there's going to be a lot of change and transformation inside of companies related to artificial intelligence in terms of how we work. But if we had to predict the medium term and the long term, what we believe will be happening is that a lot of the jobs that sort of moved the pendulum over to the keyboard work inside of companies, the management, the paper pushing, the keyboard jobs, a lot of the job creation is actually going to move back to the physical economy. So you're going to see incredible gains in manufacturing. You're going to see incredible gains in anything dealing with physical industry, whether it's building data centers, whether it's building energy resilience. You're going to see a lot of the physical economy really take off. You're already seeing it in terms of these investment agreements that came out of the recent tour. But you're seeing extraordinary investment going into the U.S. economy around places that were historically ignored. So I think it's our view that, yes, work is going to change. Over the last 25 years, technology has had an extraordinary impact on how we work, and it always will. But we're really going to see that pendulums really shift back in the next 25 years in particular to the physical economy, to building in the physical world, and that's going to be really important for the American manufacturer and most importantly for the American worker.
And so many companies have taken the directive of President Trump and said, yeah, we need to get the supply chain in America. We need to create this product in America so that we are not reliant on adversaries. That's the whole point of his national security agenda. Katherine, are there areas that you believe are ripe for investment in that realm?
Absolutely. I think reshoring is not a fleeting trend. It is something we're going to see over the next 20 years, which means automated manufacturing is going to be really important. That means that a different type of worker will be necessary, someone who understands the fusion of manufacturing and machines. It means we're going to have more factories, a growing physical economy. And it's very important that we continue investing in these physical categories, not only to support the needs that we have in the digital realm, but also to make sure that American jobs in particular are protected around the supply chain. It's an important national security concern, and something that I think is not fleeting, and something where you're seeing investors really, really take notice.
Are you getting stumped right now from wanting to do any exit strategies? I mean, the government just shut down. You can't file for an IPO. I mean, I know that IPOs were just beginning to come back in the third quarter. Now we're facing this government shutdown. I'm wondering if capital markets businesses at the big banks are going to be seriously hindered during this now day 31. How has the shutdown affected your business, Katherine?
Well, I'd say where it's mostly affected our businesses are the companies that are selling into government. Many of them have prepared for these sort of continuous negotiations or government shutdowns, and so it's not necessarily affecting their day-to-day business. But over the long term, it really does impact how companies are able to do business with the U.S. government, particularly with the Department of War. So I think there's tremendous hope that there will be a resolution so that people can really get back to work, really get back to supplying the warfighter with the products and the technologies that they need. But we are seeing the impact across companies that really want to get back to work and supporting the U.S. government.
Of course. It is great to catch up, Katherine. Please come back soon. We so appreciate your time this morning.
Always great to see you, Maria.
You are doing a great job there at Andreessen Horowitz, Katherine Boyle.